Hey guys, this is the Fighters Replay. Today we are here with a very special guest. We have Chris Beastboy Barnett here today. How is it going, man?
Man, it's going, and the going's good. So let's go.
So, man, when you really think about heavyweights, you think of these big dudes who are beefy and that are like one-shotting each other. But then you see Chris Barnett, a 5'9" heavyweight, throwing spinning back heel kicks and doing backflips in the cage and stuff, man. Where I know you started out with Taekwondo, but how did this all start? How did you get into it?
Man, the power of the imagination, we'll say. Um, yeah, I was just a hyperactive kid, man. Like that ADHD was real for me, and my pops wasn't big on drugs. Like, you know what I mean? He was like, I don't want to just, give him, drug, because what they say Ritalin is technically like crack, just like a cut down form or whatever. So my pops, he was a captain in the Air Force, veterinarian, PhD vet, all this other jazz. You know what I mean? So he was big into natural and this and that type of stuff. So he saw my hyperactive butt and was like, "You, we're gonna get you into something." So he put me into Taekwondo, and that helped a lot. Like I was still, still a little fireball, but when I got home finally, it was like, okay, hey, oh, you're sitting down? What's going on? So that was a big part of me just getting into it, and then kind of just to push it forward. My brother being he was an Olympic alternate at in what was it, 2004 Olympic Games? Well, no, 20 2000 Olympic Games. Yeah. He graduated in 99. Yeah. So that push there, like we both did Taekwondo. I was never as successful as him, but I had my little success. I won a couple states here, went to nationals and stuff. But he just kept exceeding and just kept exceeding it. And I branched off. I was like, fine, you can take Taekwondo and you can shut up. I started wrestling and that's pretty much how the whole thing took off as far as the MMA. Always had that Taekwondo background. Wrestled in high school, got a scholarship to go to Campbellsville University, picked up judo from a guy named Ben Elder. And just from there, like he introduced me to. 'Cause I wasn't even a fan of UFC at first. Like what's wild? Like I didn't even. I was like, because I remember watching Hoist Gracie, and I don't know who it was, but I just remember watching him in the gi, and they went to the ground, and I was like, yo, this ain't Mike Tyson. I'm fights. Like, yo, I need 30 seconds. I got my popcorn and juice because I know if I go get it, somebody's getting knocked out. So I wasn't even the biggest UFC fan, but he introduced me to Matt Hughes because we were out in Kentucky,
Legend.
Campbellsville, Kentucky. So, they love their wrestling and stuff, and Matt Hughes was a good old boy and a wrestler. So Ben showed me that, and I was like, hang on, so you mean to tell me after I take you down, I can punch you and kick you? Oh, hang on, so that's what birthed the whole MMA thing. And I'll say as far as the 5'9" and the kicks and stuff, it's honestly again that imagination. I played a lot of video games, man, like Tekken, Mortal Kombat, all those games, and I never looked at it as they're doing moves, but somebody had to do that move for them to do that move in the game. You know what I mean? Like the little mocap suit. At the time, I didn't know what it was. I just knew there's no way, if he can do it, I'm gonna try it. So a lot of injuries when I was younger, trying stupid stuff, but it turned into okay. Hang on, this is like a Taekwondo tornado kick. So let me just turn this into that. But yeah, man, that was the journey. I'll say that pushed me to MMA.
Gotcha. Man, I heard you say you played Mortal Kombat, man. Who's your main in that one?
You know what? I'm waiting on. I can't wait for this Homelander drop. That's why.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, he's really
I love
nasty.
the boys. I love the boys.
He's a pretty
So
damn good show.
Yeah, yo, and then I saw like the little trailer with him in the milk. I was like, yes, they got it, they got it. Like, but I'll say, I'm definitely a sub guy. I'm definitely Sub-Zero to the
Sub-Zero.
core.
Yeah, okay,
Uh,
okay. I'm a Jack guy.
okay, hey, look, man, Jax,
I,
I loved
I
him,
like
and
his little
then
hand.
Mortal Kombat Annihilation came out. I think that was the one that came out with Jax in it, where he had the metal arms and he lost them at the end.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, Jax, I can't anymore with you. Like, y'all give us one black character and then you ruin it in this movie. Like, I can't, like, I can't. Let me switch sides to Goro. He tan. I'll work with him. Like, but yeah, man, nah. Like, I respect to Jack. Doesn't he have like a daughter in the new one or a son or something?
Yeah. He does. No, it's either
Okay,
him or one of the other dudes. But
somebody.
I
Okay, yeah, I
think
was about to say they
yeah,
add somebody. Everybody's got a double now. It seems like I
yeah,
see 13
everybody knows.
Sub-Zeros in this game. And I'm just like, okay, wait a minute, hold up.
Yeah, I've heard you say you're big into video games. What do you do, in your outside time when you're not, in the gym being a gym rat?
The kids, animals, yard work, and games. Honestly, like I'm super simple, man. Like
Okay.
it's never. I never try to boggle myself down with hardship. I'm actually now getting back into Twitch and whatnot, and starting this whole YouTube thing. Hopefully this summer I might get a chance to work with AMP and whatnot.
AMP,
So
really?
yeah, man. So
No.
hopefully keep your fingers crossed for that one. So
Yeah.
but yeah, man. So I'm starting to build. I think I just uploaded like an old video of me in Allentown, Pennsylvania, which is, oh boy, man. I was looking at myself and I was like, oh my gosh, you certified goofball. Um but yeah, man, like just trying to, I don't say trying to find peace, but my honestly, in my day, I gotta laugh at least like 13 times, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, days can get too rough. I'm gonna get my 7 chuckles in. I'll just say 7 because 13 stuff, but I get my 7 chuckles in. But yeah, dude, I chill, man. Like half the time my worst headache right now is the chickens jumping over the little fence thing. So like my kids killed it in school this year. Well, summer break's gonna be wild because now I got to figure out something to do. Uh, that's the that's the main thing. But now other than that, like my I don't try to. So when I do Twitch, of course, I let it all go. My son the other day was like, "Hey man, saw your Twitch." Cussing a lot in that Twitch, huh? And I was like, whoa, first off, how'd you find my Twitch? He was like, you think I wasn't gonna find your Twitch? So now he's about to start I'm gonna start gaming with him and whatnot. So we're just gonna, build that whole thing. And then my daughter too, actually, she's more of a Switch. She plays the Switch a lot more than
It's pretty
Xbox and
funny.
whatnot. But it's tough to stream the Switch on Twitch. Ooh, we say that 3 times fast. Yeah. But yeah, it's like you gotta have a chip card and a V this, and I finally feel it. That whole, oh my god, I'm getting old. This technology is like, oh, okay, what do I gotta have? Okay, wait, the red light, does that mean it's recording? Like I'm there now. Like, so I apologize to all my old heads I used to make fun of during AOL days. I get it. I get it now.
Man, you say you're getting old, man, but hey, you still out there moving like a youngin', man.
It's a
Hey,
it's mental thing, man. I told you, like I actually said that in an interview with what was it? I think Schmo. He was like, what's your mindset? I said, in my head, I'm 170. You can't tell me nothing else. When I'm out there in that cage, I'm 170. So that it's crazy how, like, you can play with your mental to do certain things. Like, there'll be points to where I don't want to say I blank during fights, but I know I'll tell myself before I go in there, and I'll only remember blips until I see it on YouTube, and I'm like, oh, I hit the button. Yeah, I hit the button, and I went in neutral, and neutral was great. So it's like that, having that aspect of again, that imagination. I think that's what it boils back down to. That whole, I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. That whole aspect of it, dude. And it's like I I can feel like the way the body is. I'll say, as far as getting old, I never trained right, I'll say. Um, Now that I'm training right, it's still equating to what it would have been like younger me healing up, because I never went to the cryos, I never stretched, I never did any of that stuff. I'm doing it now, and I'm like, come on, man, I could have put 40 more years on my life, just doing these simple things, because you hear the old heads in the gym. Hey, man, make sure you stretch before you leave. That's gonna take
Yeah.
15 minutes.
Yeah.
15 minutes, I can get on the road. I can be somewhere else. Yo, hey, man, make sure you take that ice bath. Why? I don't like the cold. Why would I get an ice bath? So it's like those little things. Now I'm like, golly, man, he was right. And there's two coaches I've called so far, and I was like, you're right. They were like, what? What are you talking about? Don't make me hang up this phone. You're right. Okay, just take it. You're right. Oh, okay. I got an ice bath. Oh, then I had to hang up because I knew he was about to say some crazy stuff. But yeah, man, like it's great. I don't want to say it's great, but it's good knowing that I can still feel that young, even though I'm yeah, let's just I'm climbing. I'm climbing. My birthday is next month. I'm out there. I'm what 38 next month. You know what I mean? So it's woof woof. But again, I carry that. Say people have an old soul. I got that. I'm telling you, man, I got that Jeffrey Giraffe, that Toys R Us kid. It's right here, right here.
Well, you got that youthful energy and, this positive aura around you. And it just carries, throughout fight camp, fight week, even in the fight, in the octagon, when they're announcing your names, you got that positive energy. And for a lot of fighters, it's kind of hard for them to remain positive. They want to be locked in and, so focused on the fight. What do you think for you makes a difference between being locked in and having fun? Like, how is that line just completely together for you, and it might not be for others?
I can't lock in unless I'm having fun. So that's my big thing. Like a lot of these guys, I'll tell you now, I'll say 80% of them won't admit it. Well, nowadays they kind of whatever with it, but a lot of them are just terrified. A lot of this is again, that whole fight or flight when you're in there. Either like it took me, well, even I still happens now. Sometimes it takes me getting hit for me to be like, oh God, hey, we're fighting. Yo, whoa. The antics are done. No more dance moves, nothing. You better put your hands up. So it's and that's the thing to me. It's that's where I get into a confrontation with a lot of fighters, is because the whole pay thing and this and that, and it's fun to me. This is a hobby. Like, this isn't like you're paying me to do this. What? Like, yeah, I forgot who it was. I had said he was complaining about pay. It was a new guy. I don't remember his name. I really don't. Even if I did, I wouldn't say it. But I was just saying, you don't have to do this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to do this. You're choosing to sign that contract. You're choosing to, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is, I don't want to say well, it is. It's an opportunity, because what this is, quote unquote, the top of our sport, UFC. Do you realize the stamp you have after this? You know what I mean? Because a lot of these guys, they go in thinking, I don't know if it's a mindset of, oh man, I got to get as much as I can because I don't know how long I'm gonna be here, or if it's just like, I don't want to say they know their worth, type thing or whatever. But it's like, I don't complain, and I have more followers than some of or than a couple of the champions, So it's like, I could be that, hey man, y'all better this, and that. You'll never hear me say anything sideways about the UFC. I'll say that right now. Like, when I had all that going on, Dana called me personally. He didn't have to do that. Called me personally, checked in on me, and I was like, "Oh my God, he has my number. Dana has my number." So like, I think that's a big difference between me and a lot of guys, is that I'm literally doing this. Again, I had to dial back, because it started to just be for the fans, and I was like, all right, my left knee's broke, my right toe's gone, all this is. But I realized I'm cheating the fans if I'm going out there fighting injured, So that was my whole thing, is that it's a win. I have to be the best me so I can put the best performance on for everybody else, and me becoming the best me helps me just like do stuff like this. You know what I mean? Just be positive. Like what do they say? It takes so much more energy to frown than it does to smile. So my goal is somebody's gonna get at least 2 smiles out of me, you know what I mean, and during the day, so like that's the biggest thing I feel. And then another thing, I'm a fan. Like I know I like in the beginning, definitely no. Now that once I got engulfed in it and everything, I am a fan. So when I see these guys, I'm like, oh man, oh my god. Hey, Edison, can you like take a picture real quick? Like, I'm sorry. Like, so it's not, I lose track sometimes. They're like, Chris, hey, you gotta go. I said, Glover Tech shares over there. I gotta get a picture. I gotta I'll do that interview later, so that's what I feel a big difference is. And of course, a lot of the guys, I don't want to take away from the guys that, hey, I have to do this for my family. I have no other, I'm not taking anything away from any of those guys because a lot of those guys put on shows, like the Cheeto. Like Cheeto, definitely love him to. Boy, I ran into him one time in a. Well, we'll get into that later. Cheeto, love him to death, but he's one of those. He grinds, and this is for his family. Those are the scary dudes to fight. I'm him and Shane, whatever. But like, those are the guys that you're like, he's in here for it. Like, that's when I have to turn off that. All right, let me get this giggle out of me real quick because this dude, he's trying to kill me. Like, like there's a you can. First 2 minutes, you can tell in there if the guy's literally trying to kill you or if we're, okay, we're doing martial arts at this point, So, yeah, I think that's the biggest difference between me and a lot of those guys is that I genuinely love this. Like I not, I don't want to say like, but like I love it for the fans. Like I love the entertainment aspect of it more than I love the fighting aspect of, one dude was like, well, why don't you go be a comedian or something? Why don't you go? I said, because as of right now, this outlet is amazing. Like I get to hit people and like, like I don't get in trouble or nothing. Okay, we'll dial back real quick. Downtown Athens is a weird place. Y'all have problems with frat boys and stuff?
Sorta, I guess. But there's areas.
There's areas.
You know what I'm talking about. The whole frat boy aura and all that. Downtown Athens is littered with them, and hey dude, my dad's rich. I don't care what you say, bro. I own the cops, dude. It's a lot of those. A lot of dude bros will say. So I used to get a lot of scuffles, and it turned into, why am I doing this when I could get paid for this? So again, that whole UFC thing, like the money's cool, but the fact that I get to entertain, I think that's the biggest thing. That's the difference between me and the fighters. Like a lot of them, they go out there and they entertain just by fighting and whatnot. But I like to give, that icing, a little bit of sprinkles. What else you say you want on it? Some cherries too. I like the whole package.
I get you, man. So I know you said you're like a fan now. When did you start to really, start to really, really get into the UFC? Wise.
Crazy Horse, actually. Charles.
That's fucking awesome. That's awesome.
Wait. What's he want to be called? Because he doesn't want to be called Crazy Horse anymore. Felony,
Charles
or something
Felony
like
Bennett.
Yeah. So my bad. But yeah, I watched him. He grabbed somebody and helicoptered them into the cage. I think it was King of Cage fight series, I want to say. I saw that and I was like, wait a minute, this is legal? Like you can So to this day, I promise you, I'm gonna get me one in. I'm gonna grab somebody, we're gonna spin and I'm gonna try to throw them into the cage. But that's what initially grabbed me into it. And then I'll say the whole Kimbo thing, man, that whole Kimbo era of that backyard fighting, dude, like seeing him run it, Ferg, let's go, Ferg. That whole bounce, I swear, I'd never had boxed a day of my life, but when I showed up to that gym, they thought I had something because I was okay. I don't know what I'm doing, but I see people do this, So that was the biggest thing I'll say that drew me in. How I actually got into, we'll say, competing in MMA. I was dancing in a club, Peabody's. Shout out Peabody's in Tampa, Florida. I was in there just dancing, and these guys had came up, and back in the battling days, it's one of two things: either somebody's walking up to you to battle, or somebody's walking up to you to fight. And I was like, which I want, which I want. Hey, yo. And they were like, hey, whoa, hey, take this. They handed me the flyer. It was a XFC flyer, and they were like, hey, XFC tryouts tomorrow morning. I am lit. I am chocolate wasted at this point, but I'm like, oh yeah, this a fight thing. Y'all think I can do it? Cool, I'll be there. I wasn't planning on being there, but get home, fall asleep for about 30 minutes, wake up. I'm like, hey, why not? Why not? I almost show up in the same clothes that I had on, but I put on shorts. We get there, do the tryouts. We get to the burpee drill, and what was the guy's name? Hakeem Lee. Hakeem Lee goes, yo, who was out drinking the other night? And I'm like, oh God, they smell it. They smell it on me. I'm trying to do burpees. Oh man, they smell it on me. 3 seconds later, somebody throws up. Save me. Save me. I said, oh my God, clearly it's him. He's throwing up. Ew, look at him. That's gross. It just worked out perfect, but ended up doing that. And the next thing you know, I got invited to the gym to train free. And I'll say that's what really sucked me in, like the community of the gym. There's a guy named Tommy Garantina. He actually, the video I just posted, he actually originally posted that video. He was a big help with everything. Shaba Bonus, he's actually been in my corner for my last couple of fights. So from my day, like literally a day one, Shaba Bonus has been a day one, So that was my whole introduction into it. And like it got to the point because when I first started, I was like 330. And Shaw was the only guy in the gym that would do anything with me. Shaw was little. Shaw was fighting at like 130, and he goes, "Bring your big ass over here, come on," And we would just get the rolling and everything. He actually showed me a lot of my first jiu-jitsu and whatnot. That culture of it that grabbed me, and I was stuck. I went back to Lowe's. I tried to show up. Like I rode my little bike in. I showed up with my little XFC t-shirt. I was like, hey, y'all, I ain't going to be here too much longer. I lied. I was there for 4 years. But that's not the point. The point is I got out of there. Not by choice. They actually fired me. But still, I made it.
We got out of there.
I made it one way or the other. But yeah, man, like that definitely were the grassroots of me getting into it, is just being around that community of it was like, wow. It was like a good game, it was like I was like, oh man, you guys care about each other. Y'all beat the heck out of each other, then love each other after. This is great, so it was a perfect community, for me to be in. And then especially with me at that time, like I was at USF playing football and whatnot. So, and it was just weird, like the whole, again, like that whole mindset of those football players, it just wasn't for me. Of course, I'm goofy, this and that. I'll get you, I'll get a tackle here and there and do whatever you need. But it's just like they all wanted to NFL, and I was just here for, like, I wasn't there for the right reasons. We'll just say that much. I had the whole D-line laughing, during the wrong times, but yeah, like in that MMA community was just different. I could genuinely be me, and I was bringing something to the table. None of those guys had Taekwondo down there. So the kicks I was throwing, they were like, how are you, and so it all helped out, so when you feel like when you feel like you're helping somebody and you're like, oh my God, they're actually listening, I'm gonna stay, so that's what sucked me in to the whole MMA thing, was just the community of it, which it can get very drama filled, I found out later on, but that initial thing grabbed me, and I was like, all right, whatever, everything else is, I'll deal with it. But yeah, like that, just the camaraderie, I think that's what they call it. There it is. Of it. That's it.
I know it hasn't always been unicorns and rainbows and stuff, though. You know, MMA sucks. You're getting punched in the face constantly. You're getting beat on throughout the week. You know, this, you know, at the end of the day, there's some tough stuff that you have to go through. What would you say has been your toughest challenge that you had to overcome, or the biggest adjustment that you had to make from signing that or getting in that first XFC tryout to now?
Whew.
Mentally or physically, because
Challenge.
you go through all challenges in this sport.
I'll say, man, it's been, yeah, nah, like, cause this road has been, but I wouldn't change it any other way. I'll say that much. I'll say one of the biggest things, and what's crazy is I'm not trying to belittle I don't y'all know how my wife passed away 2 years ago to encephalitis. They called me 30 hours before the fight talking about something. I need to make a decision. It was wild. I'll say that mentally during that fight, if you can see my eyes, I was off. Like I remember Scott Barrett, one of my other coaches, he was like, "Hey, you're fighting." I was like, "Oh, I am fighting." Oh my God. You know what I mean? So that I'll say mentally really was just like, I say it was mentally bad because I knew I shouldn't have been in there, but I didn't want to let people down. And that was Dana cussed me out for that. He actually cussed me out for that, which I was like, oh my God, he does care. So that was one of the biggest mental, I think I'll say, with getting put on XFC. I blew up fast. Again, I was getting more. Hey, when's Chris fighting? When's Chris fighting? He had champions that have been in that organization like 3 and 4 years that just weren't popping. Like they just didn't have it. They interviews. Hey, how you doing? Fine. So when's your next fight? Win. Oh, okay. How's your mom? Fine. Okay, you know, and it's like you have a better conversation with this cardboard thing. You know what I mean? So it's like it was awful. But me, my first fight, they give me Jonathan Ivey. This guy's got 90 plus fights. This is my first pro fight. And they give me a guy with 90 plus fights.
No,
in my head, yeah, I was like, oh, tell me you being set up without telling me you being set up. All right, that's fine. I said I got something for these folks. And I told myself, I had the mindset, I said, you know what? I'm dying in this ring tonight. And boy, oh boy, did it helped. By that third round, I was like, hey, we don't have to die anymore. We beat them up enough. Everybody sees it. We're good. We're good to go. But yeah, like with that XFC thing, as I was climbing, the owner of it at the time, he took 2.5, well, almost 3 years away from my MMA because of a contract. Again, me just happy to be a part of something. XFC Gym owned XFC organization, or vice versa. How, you know, either way, you know, there's UFC Gym and UFC whatever. So they were trying to do that whole thing in the beginning. So when I signed my contract, it was like a 5-year contract. I wasn't looking at that. I saw I was about to get paid and be in front of folks. Oh, yes. What? You want my soul? Of course. Where do I need to sign? You know, pretty much is what happened too. So I young and dumb. What's he gonna take from me? I ain't got nothing. What's he gonna do? Man, when I tell you, my dumb ass. Okay, so the mailman came and he was like, "Hey, you're Chris Barnett, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm Chris Barnett." Okay, here, you've been served. I said, "Huh? What does that mean?" So I opened it up. The dude, I breached contract, so now I'm gonna have to go through this and that and da 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 da. When I tell you I hid for 4 days just because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know if the police were coming, SWAT was gonna break in. I breached the contract. I don't know what breach means. The only thing I seen breach in was a movie, and something blew up after I heard breach. You know, so I didn't know what was going on. But sure enough, so I was fighting XFC. This actually, I went to go fight, and I again don't regret it at all because I fought Walt Harris outside of the XFC contract and got the win, got the big win there. Thank God, Walt goes on and goes to the UFC before me. So it's like, oh man, Chris, you be the UFC fighter? Yes, I did. So that was my whole thing. But sure enough, I won that fight, got home, got my little money, and it was WEF too, which was a lot of people didn't like the dude at the time, but he if you go look up WEF, you're talking Uriah Fabers. A lot of your UFC stars started in the WEF, So I had that in the back of my mind, I just beat this guy, some whatever. At the time, I don't even know if I should say this. Walt was like 0-0. I was 4-0. Walt was 0-0, but they put his record up as like 21-1, and I was like, shh, make it look good, baby. Make it look good, So beating him, all people see is people. What is it? People just read headlines. That's it. No one clicks. No, it's just the headline. What's the headline say? Oh my God. The headline could read, he got shot. But then if you actually click, but the bullet missed, No, all you read was he got shot. So that was my whole thing. Hey, Chris beat Wall Harris 21-1. Shh. That's nobody didn't know all that, but yeah, like, so I get back home, mailman hits me with that. I call the company, I'm like, yo, what's this? And sure enough, the dude thought he was like a WWF wrestler. Yes, I said it. I grew up on WWF, not E. He thought he was Hulk Hogan. So he goes, you know what, brother? You think you could go fight for other organizations and do that, brother? You're getting this, You won't fight for the rest of your life. I was like, what? Wait, what do you mean? I won. It makes you look good. It makes you look like your fighters can go outside and go whatever. He goes, oh, that's not the point. He went off. During my little 4-day hiatus, I get a phone call from I think it's actually Tommy G, one of the guys who he was big up in the organization, but even him and the president had whatever. He was like, dude, don't worry about it. Just stay ready. Just stay ready. That was his whole thing. Just stay ready. And I was like, I guess, man, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, so getting that 3-year stint, so much popped up that I could have just been like, you know what, I'm doing this. I'm gonna go do that. I'm gonna go do this. That it drained me to the point to where I almost didn't want to do MMA anymore. So that the comeback. Who did I fight on the comeback fight? The video I just posted actually was my comeback quote unquote fight. Joel Wyatt. I fought him up in Pennsylvania or Allentown somewhere, Pittsburgh, up north. Beat him, and then we got the ball back rolling and whatnot. But yeah, no, that little that 3-year stint was that was tough, and I'd lost my sponsors. I had just picked up Yums. This is when Soldier Boy was hot and he owned Yums, and like I had flown out to Vegas to be in Yums videos and all this stuff. So to see all that dwindle down because I wasn't fighting and being pretty much a broke college student, it was whoo-wee, man. I tell you what, if I knew how to cook up and whip up that work, baby, I would have been I would have been out in them streets, but yeah, man, like again, everything I feel happened for a reason. During that 3 years, I still trained. Tommy G kind of, kept my head on. Sha kept my head on, but yeah, that was tough. But yeah, I'll say, because physically I got huge. I had lost all that weight to start fighting again, and then the 3-year stint. Actually, I think I came back island fights. I was like 340 fighting. No, I was 330 at island fights. And then when I went overseas, I found out in Japan, there's no weight limit. Oh, shit. Say less. So I think the biggest I fought in Japan was like 350. So like it was wild to come off of that 3-year curve with all that weight. But I was still being able. I was, still throwing them kicks and whatnot, But yeah, man. Like, I'll say that's been the biggest, though. The biggest mental struggle was that phone call 30 hours before a fight was just like, you got to be kidding me right now, And like that's what's crazy is that's not even half of what was going on. Like, if I got into that, y'all want to go find the person if I tell you everything. You'd be like, word, he did what? Okay, say less, you know. So I leave that out, you know. But yeah, man. But I'll say those definitely were the trying times now. That's why I'm peaceful Zen mode now. You know, might light my little incense over here in a minute, you know.
Yeah. Well, first off, we want to say, you know, our condolences. I know it was a really long time ago, but we remember when it was going down, and we were even in that moment. We were like, okay, let's pray for our bro. You know, let's sit down for a minute. You know, he needs some support. You know, so, but it's beautiful to sit back and watch as a fan somebody go through something like that. That's so personal, so raw, and so vulnerable for somebody on such a big stage, and to come back and make it even into a bigger story and be able to be like, all right, you know what, screw that. Bet I'm still here though. I'm still doing my own thing, you know? So it just adds to it. So it was beautiful to watch as a fan. And listening to how you came up, you know, is beautiful. You know, love to look back on to how far you've come, you know, especially in this sport, highs and lows, you know, all of it. You've been traveling around the world, got to meet the craziest people that you could have imagined. But what's in the future for Chris Barnett? What is in your future? You give us the tea.
So we got so I was supposed to fight Usman March. Mm-hmm. March. Halfway through February, your boy's getting ready. I'm hands, everything looking good. I'm like, yo, I can't. Not even I'm tripping. This was January. I'm bugging. My bad. January. Midway January. No, end of January. Yeah, it was February. Whatever. Getting ready, doing everything. I get injured. I was like, there's no way. I just told these folks I'm fighting 4 times this year. I don't care if it's a bear, a shark, an alligator, a tornado, whatever, throw me out there. But when I say it, it's going to sound crazy. But modern technology, y'all. So I ended up popping. I ruptured my Achilles. Like, but here's the thing. I finished the round and everything. I was like, you hear this loud, like literally, it was just. And my coach goes, "Hey, did your ankle strap pop, right? What was that? What was that?" And I was like, "I don't know. Bell ain't ring." We got to fix the ground. Why does it feel like there's a hole in the ground right here? That's because there's no Achilles there, Chris. So and I'm planting on it, so it doesn't hurt, but something's wrong. So something ain't right. So I'm still throwing. Boom, boom, boom. Buddy caught me 2 on the chin. That's what pissed me off even more. We still had 30 seconds left. I let him have it. I went off. After it, that's when I started walking. I was like, yeah, man. Yeah, we got to get some new mats. Something's going on, man. As I step, you can, my coach said you can see my leg kind of go, and he goes, hey, man, sit down. Sit down. I was like, nah, if I sit down, I know this is going to hurt even more. So, you know, start the round. We're only 10 seconds into the break. I'm ready to start the round. I sit down. He goes, hey, flex your feet. Do this. And I start doing this. I can do it perfectly fine. It's when he put his hand on my foot and he said, push down now. Nothing. I was like, yeah, you don't feel it? He's like, my hand's not moving. I said, oh no, what does this mean? So I'm not calling management yet. I'm not calling management. I'm not calling UFC. I'm not calling nobody. I don't know the severity of it. In my head, 3 days, I'm back. I show up. They're like, ooh, yo. And I was like, hey, doctor, don't do that. I need words. They were like, what were you doing? I was like, training and whatnot. Doctor said, yeah, buddy. Luckily enough, they were able to get me in there like pretty much in a 10-hour span. It was the next day, So they, I don't know what he did. He did it's like, I guess, a new way where you anchor it and you tie it and then it grips back. But he did something where he told me, he told me, what's your goal? I said, hey man, I said, I got about 8 more fights in me, man. He goes, okay, say less. I remember going to sleep. All right, I don't remember going to sleep. I remember having a conversation with the lady about her watch. And I was talking about Pokemon and her watch for some reason. Don't know why. But whatever drugs they gave me, I was done, woke up, and I told the doctor after, like literally after the surgery, I'm sure I was probably still halfway gone. I told him, I was like, yo, I don't think you understand. I can feel like the pressure. I can push and whatever. He goes, nah, there's no way, man. Here, take a couple of these perks and keep it moving. I was like, what? That's what we do. So literally 3 days now, you're supposed to be non-weight bearing at all. I don't have time for that. I told you I got chickens, I got kids, I got dogs, I got like I don't like so I'm in this boot, literally just RoboCotton, just you like I'm getting everything done though. Okay, and then I'm also the type. I love that YouTube rabbit hole. I start looking up Achilles stuff. The way we do stuff over here in America is completely different from everywhere else. So I forgot oh my God, I need to remember the name of them because their whole thing was they had done Achilles ruptures non-surgical and people got back to jogging and running and doing everything that they normally do. So I looked at this. I had the surgery. I'm good. Mine's technically it ain't back, but in my head, whatever those fibers did, mine but like this. If yours normally do this, mine said, we locked in, baby. So I looked it all up and they were like, they prefer weight bearing because you don't lose as much from not using that leg at all. So I was like, say less. You ain't got to. Now you're giving me a reason for my excuse. Let's go. So I go back to it's about 2 weeks, the post-op, whatever. I got to go. They got to see everything. The doctor asked me to stand. I can't stand on the ball of my foot yet, but I'm raising it to the point where he's like, "Chill, you're gonna rupture it again. Stop." I said, "I've been doing this all week, man." Like he was like, "What?" I said, "Yeah, man." I said I had one scare because is he back there? He is back there. This big ass dog I got decided to lay in the darkest shadow of the area, and I was like, la, 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 whoa! It felt so hard, like I felt my leg. In my head, it ruptured again. The pain, because there was a sharp pain through it, and I was like, oh my God, dog, I can't believe it. Really? How am I explaining this? A dog just ruptured my Achilles for the second time? Like, so that it ended up not happening. In my head, I felt like the pain strengthened. It was like, oh, we're gonna be doing this. Let's heal a little bit faster. So I go to the post-op and he's surprised. He's like, dude, I'm not even gonna say anything to you. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what I'm doing. We're in We're in May now. In April, he was like, I don't want to, release you sooner than what you are, but this is supposed to be a year to 6 months of healing. And I was like, give me 3. Give me 3. All I need is 3, baby. Just put me in, coach. That's my attitude towards you. And then plus I'm at home doing all the early drills of what people have done after, like people that are in their 6 month. They're like, okay, put a weight on your leg and lift your leg. Shit, I can do that now. Hey, I'm about to watch this. Hey, so I'm doing all the drills and everything already early. The quote unquote rehab aspect of it. We're in May. I finally get to the point to where, no, not even April. April, they cut the cast off. But May, I had to do another one. They check everything. And he goes, what are you doing? And I was like, nothing. I said my normal routine. Nothing, nothing in general. He goes, Chris, I'm going to release you in June. I'm going to clear you in June. I said, ain't no way. Ain't no way, boy. You gonna clear me in June? He said, yeah, you don't mind if I document this? You're my fastest case ever. You set a record for me. I don't know if I said like an overall record. I'm sure not the fastest healed Achilles man ever, but
world records, Guinness.
Right? Yeah, hey, hopefully, hey, gang, world record type. But yeah, so it technically was like 4 months, and he's about to clear me, and I've already make sure the FBI ain't around. I'm already back sparring, throwing kicks and everything, like full on kicks too. Like nothing soft or anything. Like I feel like a jerk, but because when we were boxing, this big tall dude took advantage of me. He's tall, small. I couldn't get inside. Hell, I can't move. My Achilles messed up. Right, Achilles started to heal. I got my kicks back. Shut him down. 4 kicks. Shut him down. shut him down. 4 kicks. He was done for. He said, man, this ain't right, man. I already wasn't getting used to your boxing. Now you can kick again. And I was like, yes, thanks. I needed that, you know. But yeah, so go ahead, my bad.
My bad, man. I was just gonna say we really appreciate you, you know, taking the time to chat out with us today. You know, unfortunately, we are a little short on time, but I do want to say that we appreciate you being open.
I talked you out of time.
Nah, man. We want to be talking with us, man. You giving us this
part 2. Look, we gotta have a part 2 then.
Hey,
clearly.
Yes.
Clearly.
It was an absolute honor. Seriously, thank you so much for chatting with us and just telling us a little glimpse of your life and, you know, the stuff that you've, you know, persevered through, all of your struggles and triumphs. You know, truly, we can't wait to continue to watch your story because it's still evolving. It's still unfolding. There's still so much more for you to accomplish. And we're just here for the ride. We can't wait to see it. Yeah, hope to chat with you soon, man.
Yeah, no, big respect, man. I appreciate y'all's love, support. Trust me, like you were saying, the prayers at the time they were felt, you know. So like this is me giving back, you know, to what y'all don't know what y'all give to us, you know.
Yes. Well, we appreciate it. We all in the same here,
real, man.
Team here together. We all going up. 2024. This is our year for the
That's
podcast. This is Barnett. We all going up. We all going up. Be sure to check out all of our boys' stuff. Go link to Twitch, YouTube, socials. Get him on all of his stuff. He's so entertaining. I swear to God, I can listen to you for hours. Honestly, put you in my headphones and I'll go for a run or something.
Hey, get me on that Rogan. Yo, I'm this close. I'm this close. He posted me. Him and Shane Gillis talked about me one time on there. So he gets me on there. I plug y'all. You see how the ball keeps going? You see how the ball keeps rolling?
We gotta get people to tag Joe Rogan on the social media.
We rolling.
Word.
All right. Well, we can't wait to see it, man. We hope to speak to you soon, and you have a great rest of your night.
Awesome. I appreciate it again, man. Y'all be easy.
You can't break me, I got iron bones. My ground game will leave your mind blown. I'm ready to fight in any time zone. I'm the greatest, you can call me John Jones. Knocking clowns out like I'm Steve Payne. We can even fight on the freeway. I'ma leave him bloody right where he lay. This is the Fighters Replay.